Retro Hangover, supported via Patreon by listeners like you. We would especially like to thank patrons Lyle McCarnes, Ashton Ruby, Randall Quiggle, Tony G, Stud Still Smash the Milkman, Keith Gasper, Miss Peachy, JC, Megan Caruso, Mass Keaton, Andrew LaGuarri, Ozzy Garcia, The Retro Vixen, Adam from The Good, the Bad, the Backlog, Lunchbox, aka The Disgruntled Gamer, Dischimera, Jenny E, Rick Firestone, Parallax Puddles, Soha, Dave Jackson, Matt, aka Stormageddon, Retro Overdrive, B. Ross and Van Fernal from Super Garbage Day, Raging Demon, Storm Beagle, The Emperor, Eric Guess, Nomad from the Retro Wildlands podcast, Ash Event, Alan Bingham, Ryan, Player One, Mike the Ref from Backbreaker Gaming, Darth Emick, Low5 Alex, Alt, Renner Dreaming, and Oh Me. Your continued engagement and generous donations are deeply appreciated. Welcome to The Flight, a consumable curation of champions and catastrophes that is considerate of your chronometer. It is I, Chris Copeland, once again, here to introduce you as part of this illustrious Retro Hangover podcast. And I think we have a delectable, delicious dining experience for all of you today, as I hope you're listening to this during dinner. If you're not, get some food in front of you and start picking out. Dine to your heart's content. Dig in, one may say, and dig into this episode as we are talking about the top 5 most delectable dishes in video games. I am joined, as always, by your host, Shane, dining in Dick Dragon Koski. I've used too many D words, but I wanted to stay. I'll repeat them. I don't give a shit. But Shane, how are you doing?
I just want to get some of that umami. You know what I'm saying?
Umami. I agree. Ugh, can't wait to taste mommy. What?
All right. Well, we got there in record time.
This is not an Oedipus statement, by the way. It's a reference.
Listen,
to
I think
another
culturally, I think we're like far past that being like taboo or an issue at all. I mean, you take that one way or the other, but I think using those words, it's not even a thing anymore. That's why
especially if you put step in front of it, then it's totally cool.
Oh, well, yeah, absolutely. That reminds me of I think it was a tweet or something I saw quite a while ago now. That was just like, man, you guys all ruined the word daddy. I'm going to have my kids call me bruh or some shit.
But we're talking about food.
We sure are.
All right, Shane, so let's get this list kicked off, and why don't you give us your number 5 most tasty temptation from video games.
Number 5.
Well, I am going to start my list with some perhaps humble origins. They're not the high-res foods, you know. This is no Final Fantasy 15, but it is a cake, but probably not the one you're thinking of.
Is it by the ocean?
I don't know. I mean, it could be if you put it there. But no, I would imagine most people are thinking, if you say the word cake in relation to video games, that they're going to immediately go to the chocolate cake from Portal 2. It is not that. That does look tasty, and people have recreated it in real life, and it looks pretty good. But no, my choice is the white cake from Minecraft, actually. Like I said, kind of blocky, but you know what? I feel like if something looks tasty while it's in, like, you know, it's using like 6 polygons or whatever. It's pretty good. I think it's pretty good. And the fact is that the implication there, as far as I'm aware, really is that it's like it's a white frosted cake with like strawberries and like a jam filling, and that is my shit. Like if you offer me like a donut, for example, I will always go for the filled donuts, specifically Boston cream, probably my favorite, but also a good jelly donut I will not turn down. And so like a jam filling in a cake with white frosting and strawberries, hell yeah. So that's what that's what I'm kicking off. Also, minor spoiler, but upon reviewing my list for this episode, I realized that I am in fact a fat ass because I think every one of mine is a dessert. So there you go.
You know what? I think we are both fat asses. Mine are not all desserts, but there are plenty on here. But you know what? As an homage to Secret Levels podcast, we are a couple of thick boys.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Check out Secret Levels podcast. They're a great friend of the show. All right. My number 5 is Willows from the game Cotton. Now, what the fuck are willows? It's not a little person running around with a sword in a high fantasy setting. No, this is a candy that is part of a shmup. And Cotton is a shmup. And you play as a witch. And if this witch is willing to help a fairy out just to get some willows, not to be a good person or a good witch or anything like that, this witch just wants to kill things because there's the promise of candy at the end. So if this candy is that fucking good, I want to try it. I want to eat it. I want to know how good it is. If one of the most powerful people in the world will just go out of their way to just get the promise of tasting it. So I'm going to just keep this short and sweet and say willows from Cotton.
All right. Now, my immediate reaction was, what is a willow? And also, what is a cotton? So there you go.
Yeah.
Number 4.
All right. Well, moving right along. My number 4, as I said, also a dessert, is sea salt ice cream from Kingdom Hearts 2. Or really kind of most of the series in a way, if you think of it from a plot perspective. But, well, it was introduced in 2, so we'll go with that. It just sounds good. You know, it's a very simple thing, but it's got that right mix of sweet and salty that I think is what really makes it kind of hit like it does. And I know folks have made this in real life, and I actually want to try it at some point to make it myself, because it is a very simple recipe. But not only is it that it sounds delicious, but it's also, oddly enough, kind of a critical plot point for Kingdom Hearts in general. So not only is it tasty, but also important.
All right. Thank you, Shane. We have made sea salt ice cream at our house.
Really?
We made little popsicles out of them. Yeah.
Nice.
They're good. Did not make my list, though. And by the way, I just also have to say nothing from Final Fantasy 15 did. Probably should have, but there's so much there that I didn't want to make the entire list that way, and I can't remember any of it specifically. So I didn't want to say that. Also, cup noodles is good.
True.
So there is that. Yeah. But my number 4 is just going to be wall meat from the Castlevania games. It's meat, it's in a wall, and it refills your health. There's got to be something good about that wall meat. Is it dried wall meat? Is it like jerky? It has to be preserved. It just can't be sitting there. It can't be like nice and moist. Like there has to be some seasoning there. It might be a little salty. Maybe it's nice and dried out and it's nice and flaky and just has a really strong aroma to it. Maybe it's smoked. Maybe it's a smoked meat. I got to eat this, Shane. I want this smoked salty meat put right in my mouth. Just slam that meat in my mouth and keep doing it. I don't think it's moist. It's nice and dry, but you can't keep it dry because now my mouth is moist from that meat. Just thinking about it. Sitting in that wall. I want to crash that wall. I want to penetrate that wall with my whip and use that whip to slap that meat. Yeah, you know what's up. You know what's up, you nasty little meat. I'm sure you're not covered in mold. You're just nice and raw and I think I'm going to get some creme fraiche. But that's my number 4. It's wall meat from Castlevania.
Unnecessarily hypersexual, but yeah, so I almost had that on my list too, actually. Mostly out of just morbid curiosity, right? I'm just like, it has to be good. Like it looks plump and juicy, but it's in a wall. How do? And I would want to know.
And is it food sexual? Do we not enjoy sexual chocolate?
If you ask George Costanza that question, he would say absolutely. But
absolutely.
Number 3.
All right, so my number 3 is the only savory entry on my list. It is not a candy or a dessert or anything like that, but it sure does look pretty tasty. And if a whole like island is totally into it, then something's got to be right. And that is the stupendous stew in the Luncheon Kingdom of Mario Odyssey. So if you haven't played Mario Odyssey, there is a world called the Luncheon Kingdom where everything is made up of oversized foods and baked goods and what have you. And the sort of like central focal point of this place is a volcano with a massive stone bowl on top of it. And it's an active volcano. I feel like I should point that out. And inside this bowl is this stupendous stew. And it's bubbling. It looks real good. And if all of the inhabitants of the Luncheon Kingdom are so into this stew that they basically kind of center their entire lives around the production and preservation of said giant ass bowl of stew, there's got to be something good about it. And so I want to get a good bowl of that.
Nicely said. So my number 3 is actually my only sweet on my list. And I just picked one of many from this game series, because when I was looking through it, I was like, I know this game has some tasty looking food that I just want to fucking munch on. And I looked it up, and of course it did. And I found the one image, and I might be wrong on what exactly this is, because it's just an item that gives you points. But I'm just going to say that it is strawberry shortcake from Bubble Bobble. And it looks really fucking good. It's covered in like this red sauce, and it's cake because it's the bigger item of the little item that's also cake. And I'm just thinking to myself, a nice strawberry like dressing or cream or icing or whatever the case might be would be delicious on some nice angel food cake, which that's what I'm imagining that it is, because what else would you put it on? Some additional vanilla cream on top of that as well. I just find that something that I would be in heaven with if I'm just running around and blowing bubbles on people and crushing them. That after a hard day's work, settling down with a nice, cool strawberry shortcake, maybe with a side of ice cream. I think some of them do have some parfaits that you can pick up for points as well. But I'm sticking as the one that I most want to have from Bubble Bobble as the strawberry shortcake. It looks delicious.
Number 2.
Okay, well, I'm going to continue the berry theme here. So there are a lot of things I could have picked from this game, or really both games, if you think about it. But of all of them, this was one of the ones that I thought sounded the most delicious, and that is the wild berry crepes from Tears of the Kingdom. So there's a shit ton of different meals that you can prepare as Link in both Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. But these in particular just they look like they're right up my alley. Like I like a good crepe, and I haven't actually had one in quite a bit now that I think about it. But being that I am a significant portion French Canadian, this sort of thing I feel like is sort of, in my blood. It's maple syrup, honestly, but
yes.
And so, yeah, that is why I picked this one. There were a lot of really good picks that I could have chosen from either of those games, because a lot of the dishes that Link ends up making do look pretty delectable, but this one spoke to me on a personal level.
Shane, we need to go out for crepes. I have not had a crepe in forever either.
Dude,
I
yes.
need I need a banana Nutella crepe.
Hell yeah. I'm sure we can track some down somewhere.
Oh my god. Well, I hope so. I can't even find a place to get poutine around here. For
Well,
fuck's sake.
there used to be, and then they closed it because apparently we don't have culture.
No. Well, we still have our shawarma places, so settle down. Settle down. All right. Moving on to my number 2 is roast pig from Tamba. And if you want to know where this is from, I mean, the entire theme of the game is around Tamba, fighting off pigs and stuff like that. In the opening scene, I guess it would be more roast boar. Tamba is just chilling, doing his caveman Tamba stuff, and he sees a pig, and he decides that he is hungry. And in this cute anime scene, he is chasing the pig, and the pig looks very concerned that he's being chased by Tamba because he does not want to be caught by him because Tamba is hungry. So eventually, Tamba does catch the pig, and you might be wondering, what is the poor disposition of this pig? Well, you find out, because in the following scene, Tamba is cooking the pig and eating him, and it looks delicious. And I want some of that pig with Tamba because it's fresh. He had just chased that pig, and that pig had cute anime eyes while he was barrowing down on him before he slaughtered him for food. So yes, it's roast pig from Tamba. I want to eat, and I kind of feel bad because the pig was cute, but I'm sure its cuteness will add to its flavor.
Yeah, I'll say that's what makes it delicious.
It does, yes.
Number 1.
All right. Well, here we are. My number 1. I don't think it's anything crazy really, and I'm sure some folks will roll their eyes when I tell you what it is, but it's kind of hard to avoid. And as someone who put like hundreds of hours into this game, you see a lot of them, and you can only see so many of these before you're just like, man, I really want one of those because they look damn good. And that is the sweet rolls from Skyrim. Those things look fantastic. They're like little fucking pastry volcanoes with these icing on the top, and they're like a donut on steroids. Like I want one. Like I can just imagine that they got like, I feel like there's sort of like almost like a hyped up like cinnamon roll, maybe. Like there's some good like cinnamony, nutmeggy kind of flavor going on with that like icing on the top, and yep. It's like a Cinnabon. There you go. It's like a fantasy Cinnabon. That's basically what sweet rolls are like in my head. So clearly I want one.
And who doesn't like cinnamon rolls? My number 1 is from a game that I'm sure Shane will love to get to someday. I look forward to getting to it. Right after we get to its predecessor, Lyle, I'm counting on you and the patrons.
Oh no.
To hopefully never get to that. But I'm assured that someday we will. But my number 1 is from Persona 5, and that is LeBlanc curry. I have looked up the recipe for this. It looks way too involved for me to get into, but I really want to cook it. I really want to get all these ingredients and make a big pot of curry and spend all day making it. And when I've seen there's like apples in there and various, like just apples in a curry product, to me is just incredibly intriguing, and what the varieties of flavors would be and how it would like get on my palate and just make me so happy. Like right now, you can even tell I'm not talking in this like jokey manner or anything like that, because I just really want to tear into some LeBlanc curry because everything just looks amazing. And there's so many food choices I could pick from the Persona series, but I thought like, what was the most iconic one that I could pick that I just want the most out of? And that is this curry. That's a central plot point as well, like your sea salt ice cream. It's so important to the character's development. It's not like a critical development, but it can be if you want to interpret it that way. And just the fact that like there's so much dedication and lore behind this curry as well, and how all the characters are like, oh man, this is some fucking good curry. I want to try it. I just don't want to just try it. I want to cook it. I want to prepare it. I want to make this a meal for myself and like my family and my friends, because with a nice little side of rice, because it looks like there's work and dedication and love put into making this food. So that is my number one. My number one is LeBlanc curry from Persona 5.
All right. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm hungry now.
I am hungry too. For sex. Wait, what? We're talking food. Food is sex.
Costanza tried to warn you. You start mixing those two, and then it's hard to, pull them apart again. They just get linked inextricably.
Is that the episode where he wanted to baste like someone like a chicken or something?
Well, so he started putting like sandwiches and shit in the bedside table because he couldn't have sex unless he was also eating.
That's right.
Everybody remembers Seinfeld. Anyway,
I do.
Yeah,
it's great. It's a great show. It's a fantastic show. All right. But this time we'd like to thank our patrons, our patrons. We've had multiple because over the years, well, actually it was all within this year, oddly enough, but we had 2 people nominate this topic, and they are Rick Firestone from the Pixel Project Radio and Matt, aka Stormageddon, from the Fun and Games and Reignite podcasts. Thank you, both of you, for nominating this topic, and thank you, patrons, for voting on this topic so that we could talk about it today. So if anyone wants to write nasty YouTube comments about us, well, we didn't pick this. So, hey, I hope you enjoyed it. And you could still leave a nasty YouTube comment. It's fine.
Sure. We read them sometimes. But you know what? It is well, I don't know where you're from. I was about to say it's a free country, but you are allowed to say what you want to say as long as YouTube doesn't delete it. There you go. That's what I'll say. Yeah. So you know what? Yeah. We take all forms of criticism. Sure. Whether or not we do anything with it, totally different story. But anyway, let's see. Spiel time. Yeah. Spiel time.
Yeah.
All right. So, hey, if this happens to be the first time that you've tuned into the show, interesting choice. I will say that, given that it's not even a main episode, but you know what? Hey, you do you. You're probably an interesting person. We might like to get to know you. And the easiest way to do that would be to join our publicly available and totally free Discord. So you can find that along with all of our other stuff, whether that happens to be the Patreon, where you can join for as little as $1 a month and get access to a whole bunch of extra content, as if the absolute bevy of stuff that is on our main feed was not enough for you. Well, we got more. That's right. And you can get to it that away. You can also get to the merch store if you'd like to buy a sweet shirt or a sticker and slap it on places that it shouldn't be in. Put it in a bathroom stall. I don't know. Whatever you want to do with it. Put it on the back of your car. Put it on your cat. No, don't do that. That'd be a bad idea. The cat would hate you. Don't listen to me. But there are things you could do.
It already hates you.
That's true. It would just be a little bit more overt. It'd be less passive aggressive and more just actual aggressive. Anyway, you didn't come here for good or bad advice, hopefully. But you can find all of those things on our link tree. So just go over to linktr.ee/retrohangover and click the button that suits you best. And Chris, in case somehow the people don't already know, aside from the YouTube channel that we have where we upload, video versions of these episodes, we also upload VODs of us playing games. Where do those come from?
Well, if you want to see some delicious thick boys that will make your mouth water and maybe other parts of your body, you never know, head over to twitch.tv/retrohangover and watch us stream. And you might see me put whipped cream on my nipples. You probably won't, but you might not. But there's only one way to find out, and that's to go to twitch.tv/retrohangover at 9 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday nights and see some absolutely delightful middle-aged men playing video games and just looking like you just want to devour them. And you can find that over there at twitch.tv/retrohangover at 9 p.m. Eastern time on Sundays. There you go. Shane, are you gonna be putting whipped cream on your nipples too?
I can neither confirm nor deny whether this will happen or not. You'll have to tune in to find out.
Oh.
Yeah. And with all of that now having been said, until next time,
play with your Can You Milk Me 2 joysticks.